All stories alleged. For gossip and entertainment only. Let's do this.
Hello, gossipers. So, this is Sharona, by the way. Yeah, that's it. Gossip in the Dark by Sharona. So, we're going to go a different route here. Now, I don't do politics, but certain headlines, when you read them, you're like, okay, let's look into this. Now, who am I talking about that we're going to look into? Nothing in depth, nothing like that. Because as I said, I don't do politics. It's just every now and then, as I said, if a headline grabs my attention, then I'll speak. So we're talking Candice Owens. Now, with Candice, she is a very proud conservative far right Republican. She's a few of the African Americans who who's a conservative far right Republican. But every now and then at work, I would listen to different platforms. Excuse me, if you hear birds or planes in the background, it's because I'm on my patio enjoying this Florida weather. It's beautiful. So whenever it gets to this time of year, we try to enjoy it because we don't see a lot of cool weather anymore. First time like around starting October, then you would see. But for this week, we had what, 4 days of coolness, and it's just the end of November. So the entire October, the first 3 weeks in November, nothing. It was just heat, hot. And yeah, so whenever we get this weather now, we're just gonna appreciate it because it's not something we get a lot of nowadays. I don't know if it's with climate change, global warming, stuff like that. So back to Candace. So I just wanted you to know in case if you hear sounds in the background, and that's the reason because I'm outside. So, as I said, sometimes at work I will listen to Candice when she speaks just to hear of a different perspective. Because everyone I listen to, not follow, because I don't follow a lot of people. It's just that with YouTube, you get little snippets, little, what, like 10, 20, 30 minutes speaking. See videos, when they just go straight to the point instead of watching if it's a 2 hour video, they cut it in pieces, and then I only gravitate to the pieces that I, listen to. And because of who she is, I would sometimes listen to her at work just to see if I'm going to react as like she really does not like being African American or something to that equation. Sometimes the way she speaks. But then again, as I said, I don't know this woman. You could only judge by what she gives you, and what she gives me is that she's not. I'm not going to use the word pro black because I'd like to think as an African American, she does not. I don't like to use the word hate, but dislike herself, because you could be black and don't like yourself, or be African American and just don't like yourself or color. And according to she's not that. So we're gonna have to take her at her word. But she was saying that she was barred from going to Australia, that they don't want her in Australia, and I think it's because some kind of comment she made about with the Jews and whatever is going on overseas, something to that effect. But I'm going to read the article. The article will tell us more of what it is. So Candice Owens, she was born 1989, and her full name is Candice Amber Owens Farmer. So I guess the husband is Farmer. And it says, is an American political commentator and pundit. She's mostly described as conservative or far right. Mm-mm. And then sometimes far right, it's like far right can also mean, these are people like with the KKKs and the those are what you call yeah, so yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go to the article. And it says, so apparently, yes, Australia rejected her because she had a speaking engagement there, and now they're saying New Zealand has also rejected her. So we're going to read the article, and it's from USA Today. And it says New Zealand joins Australia in rejecting Candice Owens' visa ahead of speaking tour. Now, this is just a 2-minute read, thank Lord. And it says New Zealand has denied a visa application from conservative media personality Candice Owens. Owens had a speaking tour scheduled in cities in New Zealand and Australia booked for February and March of 2025. In October, Australian Immigration Ministry Tony Burke announced the country was canceling Owens' visa because she has the capacity to incite discord in almost every direction, multiple outlets, including the New Zealand Herald, reported. A spokesperson with Immigration New Zealand confirmed with USA Today Friday that Owens' entertainer's work visa has been denied on November 19th, citing a rule that bars applicants from receiving a visa if they have been excluded from another country. Oh, so because she was excluded from Australia, then they themselves, New Zealand, could do the same thing. That's what it sounds like, right? Okay. Owens addressed the situation on her podcast, saying she was lawyered up and planned to appeal Australia's decision while accusing the country of denying her visa because she had applied. Owens is a far right commentator with a podcast and YouTube channel. She has a history of spreading anti Semitic rhetoric, including Holocaust denial and revisionism. Burke reportedly mentioned her rhetoric form downplaying, no, Burke reportedly mentioned her rhetoric from downplaying the impact of the Holocaust with comments about German SS officer Joseph Mengele through to claims that Muslims started slavery as the reason for her denial. Owens responded to the move in one of her YouTube videos in October, accusing him of lying and leaking the decision to the press. All of this is just to make a statement to try to present me as some very scary person akin to Adolf Hitler, Owens said. In September, Owen said she was suspended from YouTube Partner Program, which allows creators to make money after the Google subsidiary deemed some videos in violation of ad friendly and community guidelines, according to emails she shared on social media. So, yes, that's what the article is saying, is that now New Zealand has rejected her, and one of the reasons why is because Australia also rejected her, so they could do the same thing if they wanted. Now, yeah, she is very controversial. She says things that rub people the wrong way. And, of course, she thinks she's right. Her followers think she's right. And, she is, I don't even know what to say. Again, I don't do politics. I can only go by what I see and what I hear. And just the little times that I've listened to her and hear people speak on her, she's problematic. She is, I don't know. With Candace, it's she has a right to her opinion, but sometimes her opinion can sound racist towards her own African American community and to Black people in general. She is married, and of course, it's to a white man. I think he's English, and I think she has 3 kids. And I think the husband shares the same views as she does. And if I mean, I don't know. It's like I want to say what I want to say, but it's not that I'm afraid, but it's like, as I said, I don't know her personally. I can only judge by what she says or what people put out there. And it just seems like she's not a proud African American, or if she is, because remember, you can still be African American slash black and hate yourself, hate your culture because of stereotypical things. And I think that's what it comes down for me, is the stereotypical aspect of what African Americans and black people go through in this country, where if someone who's African American or black does something, it's like that person represents the entire race. So I'm one of those, I don't like when people generalize situations. Like, I'm from Jamaica. If I'm speaking on Jamaica, and you'll hear me say, well, we Jamaicans, we do this. And then I'll correct myself to say, you know what, I don't know all Jamaicans, but the ones I know, because I can only speak to Jamaicans that I know of, not the entire country. The only thing I could say with the entire country that we all agree about is that our motto is out of many, one people. Because even though Jamaica is a predominantly black country, we do have other races there. And some things are coming about Jamaica now. I feel like Jamaica is so Americanized, because I've never heard of racism in Jamaica. Never, ever. And to see some of these videos now that you have Jamaican content creators that are putting out talking about racism in Jamaica, not even it's mostly the other, not black Jamaicans, because we have a lot of like Chinese Jamaicans, especially Indian Jamaicans, and we call them coolie. Our white Jamaicans, of course, it's like they're saying it's mostly coming from them to the black people of Jamaica, which I was like, I've never experienced that. I did not know what racism was until I came to America when I was 14. And people might say, well, it's because you're from a predominantly black country. It is a predominantly black island, but guess what? It depends on where on the island you live. Because I remember at one point, our neighbors were Chinese Jamaicans. I remember the son, his name is Paul. And then another incident, I lived where white Jamaicans were my neighbors. And then people might say, oh, it's because you had money and this. Yeah, we weren't poor, but we weren't rich. So we were able to live comfortably in Jamaica in that aspect, to say, of course, I've been around other Jamaicans. And the thing about it is that I did not know what color to give them, like Chinese or white. I just saw them as people, but I knew they were different. That much I do know, that they were different. It's not until I came to the States that I realized that, oh, okay, this group is called that, that group is called that. And that's what bothers me about Jamaica, is that I don't know if I was sheltered, but now to hear all these stories coming out, especially of other colored Jamaicans towards black Jamaicans, it's like, what is going on in my country? The latest thing you're talking about is in Jamaica we have prime minister, because we were under the English rule, so we have prime minister. And now I hear, does Jamaica need a white man for prime minister? We had 2 white mans before. We had Edward Seaga and Michael Manley. They were white Jamaicans who were president. I mean, prime minister. And then we had Portia Simpson, which was a black Jamaican woman. And now I don't even know who the Jamaican prime minister is. Oh, I think Andrew Wholesome or Holiness, something like that. But I see where they're talking about, should Jamaica have a white prime minister? And I'm like, we did that before and we were still flourishing. What's going on now? Why is this a race debate now in Jamaica? And don't get me wrong. I know, Jamaicans are saying, some of them love to bleach their skin. And for those who don't know what bleaching is, that's when you lighten your darker tone skin to be accepted, they will say. But sometimes when you have your African features, no amount of lightening the skin will give you a pass. So yeah, that's just to say. But yeah, back to Candace. It's, she I don't know. I just wanted to read that article. It's like I know what I want to say, but it's like I can't say it, if you get what I'm saying. And I don't know, as I said, I'm not scared. It's just that if you don't know the person and can only judge by what you see on YouTube, it's not fair, but that's what people put out there for you to judge off. And just by listening to her and her reaction, it's somewhat seems like she's not in favor of her African Americans, black people, like with the police brutality against African Americans, black people. And the reason why I keep saying African Americans different from black people is because usually in the news, if it's a person of color, it's usually African Americans. It's every now and then you might hear of a black person from Jamaica or Haiti or where else. We don't even hear much of other islands here in the US. So majority of the news, when you see a person of color that's black, they're usually African Americans. And just like with the police brutality, she's like, it has nothing to do with racism. And that I can agree to some extent, that not everything has to do with race, but the way how she makes it sound is like when a black person is being treated unfairly by police officers, the skin color is not always a factor. But most of the times, the stories that they report, it has to do with the skin color. And that's the thing with with the media, and they put the stories out there that shows you it has to do with the skin color. So for those, say, white officers who are arresting black people or African American, they're not going to tell that story because it's not going to garner media attention. But if you tell the story of, this was a potential race crime, the police officer, because he saw the black man pulling a gun and black, so yes, with the media, I think the media too is, it plays with your head a lot, a lot, a lot. But yes, forget all that. But with Candice, yeah, that's all I wanted to come on and say is that I remember she was saying that, she was happy when she was banned by Australia. When I say happy, like, oh yes, well, I'm gonna go get my attorney, that. But it looks like other countries might be following, and people, some people will say, you know what, Candice will want to, you're going to hit rock bottom, and you're going to run back to the same black people, African Americans who you spit on, they would say. Because they said she even had some kind of incident in college or something where she was attacked racially, and she forgot about that. And yeah, so yeah, so basically that's what it all was with Candice. So gossipers, what are your thoughts on Candice Owens? Is I mean, this is America where you have freedom of speech, but sometimes you got to be careful on how you're speaking those freedom, because it's not always true, and people would take your word for it and go and harm people when they don't need to. So Donald Trump is not in office as yet, and Candace says, Donald Trump does not impact her in any negative way, and she has her biracial kids. So I guess if cops or anything, when they get older, pull them over, she's gonna tell them, let those officers know you are biracial. You have a white father, so they can't treat you the stereotypical way they treat African Americans, black people. So yeah, that's it, gossipers. So what are your thoughts? And as always, thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. I wonder how many countries after Australia and New Zealand will ban Candice from traveling to their country. Because, she's problematic. She makes a lot of comments on, and like Black Lives Matter and Judaism and just everything, everything, everything. Yeah, so women's rights, gay rights, and some of the stuff that you do agree with her. But yeah, gossipers, that's about it. Thank you for watching and listening. Tell me your thoughts on Candice Owens, and do you agree with her politics? Do you even listen to her? And if you do, what are your reactions when she says stuff that just seems far fetched or just racist towards our own people? Okay, gossipers, thank you.